That's one. So there you go. But we have actually one more topic to discuss in the show today, which is way, way, way bigger.
Yep.
And I'm going to kick this one because this one's going to be a discussion.
Yeah, let me bring you up the first part, and then you can talk about the game because that was something we just got from a viewer. Somebody just told us about a game that's coming out too, but we'll get that's just the next part just after that. So So I'll kick it if you're ready.
Yeah, you're ready. Go ahead.
So basically, I just saw this just yesterday. It supposedly was something that was confirmed 22nd, so just 2 days ago. But it says confirmed. George Lucas is now writing the next Star Wars series. He's back, not just as a consultant. If you guys are keeping track a little bit closer of like Mandalorian and some of the other TV shows and things, he's had his hand as kind of a consultant here and there and doing some things. But it legit, this is saying he's like gonna be writing stuff again, and
welcome home.
We just it's kind of like, you know, Han going to Chewie, you know, we're welcome home, you know, back when they step on. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. I mean, a lot of people will argue they like some of the newer stuff, like say Rogue One, like so had a different spin on showing things, but past that, I've heard a lot of people say 456 episode 456 is like the best. They like the most, right? The original trilogy. The other movies that were added on as the prequels, you know, as you know, and then the ones later, they were like, no, they just didn't have that same like
vibe.
They just weren't as good. I've heard a lot of people say, and so Lucas is coming back, and we can only wonder actually where he's going to go with this. Is he gonna? Are we going to see some follow on to the characters you already know and love, or are we going to see like something totally new? I don't know, but anyway, there you go.
So here's the funniest thing, right? And now I think the downfall of that series was obviously Jar Jar Binks, and what a lot of people are overlooking. I'm serious, okay?
No, I get you.
A lot of people, and I know a lot of people would back me up on that one, right? So the other part of it is that look, obviously Lucas coming home is one thing, but I did not know that Disney Plus already had in the works the Ian McGregor reboot of the Jedi series, right?
We got Andor is supposedly in there as well.
Yep.
They're we're not going to get too I wouldn't say political, but like too ingrained in social media on the Cara Dune things going on with that. If you guys are watching The Mandalorian, which I thought was a good fun series, the actress who plays Cara Dune, an ex shock trooper. She got in some spats with Disney on social media, and thus has been let go. Supposedly, she was going to be in another one of their spin-off series for Stormtrooper kind of stuff. Or what was it called?
I think it was going to be her prequel information. I can't remember what it was going to be called.
So the point is, if you like Star Wars, there's a lot of good stuff coming in Star Wars. We can only hope there'll be more good stuff now that Lucas is going to be more involved.
Well, he's an excellent storyteller. He started you off on the first trilogy, right? He did a great job, and his biggest thing was that when he originally went to the studio shot him down on making such a big, elaborate production.
Oh yeah.
And it turns out that it took him a long time to build up this universe. And it also is worth noting that J.J. Abrams helmed both the Star Trek and the Star Wars universe simultaneously, and did a great job with his Bad Robot production company and how well that worked out for them. But to see George come back to the reins on this one, I think is massive news. And if you're a Star Wars fan, I don't think you could be anything else but excited. Right?
I mean, we even talked a little bit again before the stream about Obi-Wan Kenobi. I know you just mentioned that, but I mean, there's now, I think it's been confirmed now, if I'm not mistaken.
It is
Obi-Wan
confirmed.
Kenobi has Ewan McGregor back, of course, but also has Hayden Christensen coming back as Vader, whether it's a vision or a memory or something, but legit, he'll be in there as Vader. I mean, there's some cool stuff. Cool stuff coming.
Well, imagine if you're still George Lucas and you're trying to tell this story, that you still have so many gaps in between movies that you can fill in, right?
Well, that's the thing too that a lot of like maybe not hardcore fans would know is that sure there's these movies and George had a vision, but his vision goes way past just the cinematic.
Look at Rogue One.
Just go on and on about these characters. I mean, he's got so many things to say about this.
Look at Rogue One.
He's back, so
when I saw Rogue One, I thought it was a great departure from the standard delivery of Star Wars movies because
like the every guy movie.
Yeah, it was like It was gritty.
But
it was dirtier.
That's how it would be, though. Yeah.
Sure, right. It was almost like I looked at it as like the Saving Private Ryan of the Star Wars series because it got a little dirtier into some of the things, like what actual combat on the ground would have been.
Blocking laser bolts because you're a space wizard.
Right.
It's like, holy crap, this stuff can kill you.
It's true.
And there's
well,
millions of combatants other than people flinging lightsabers around.
Unless it's a stormtrooper, they rarely kill you.
Well,
but as
the story goes,
as the story goes, right? But look, now I'm interested to see, because I haven't finished The Mandalorian. I do not binge watch. I wait. I watch one episode per week so I can digest. And then a buddy of mine turned around and said, "Look, if you're really going to watch The Mandalorian, what you have to do is go back and watch Rebels." Because Rebels actually feeds in more information than The Mandalorian can deliver, and you'll have a much better experience. So then what I started to do was look at Rebels a little bit, and I said, okay, that's interesting, right?
Oh,
and
James, me too.
So there's more there that I have to take a look at. But even beyond that, okay, so...
Actually...
What?
Keep talking. I was just going to say, James just said he'd love to see a Knights of the Republic movie, and I was just going to say that. There was some news...
I was just going to say that.
They announced a few new timelines... I can find this, but there's some new timelines that they might relate to some new movies. Let me try to find it again. But basically, the article I read about that was that I guess it was going to be Disney was changing around how the timelines were. There's like, I'm getting a bit obviously way in the nerdy stuff here too, but how the timeline goes in Star Wars. If you look at like history of it, there's like before Battle of Yavin, after Battle of Yavin, there's all these like timelines. I guess they're thinking of scratching all that again and putting some new like eras in. Whether it's I'm trying to find the article, but anyway.
You go work on that, because what I'll bring up is then there's also obviously coming up that this is going to be a re-release of Star Wars Republic Commando is actually going to be launching on the PS4 this April, which is new news that just dropped. Star Wars Republic Commando actually released in 2005, and it was basically the Rainbow Six of that genre in the Star Wars realm, bringing in squad tactics and battle scenes just like that to the Xbox and that whole environment. And while that shifted, it never really got itself back over to the PlayStation, actually their store or anything. It never actually released at that point. So now all of a sudden that's actually dropping. But however, this title is still available, I believe, in the old catalog on the Xbox 360 on the Xbox and as well as on Steam. However, it's actually a massive departure in the fact that we did see announced just a few weeks ago that EA no longer retains exclusive rights to the Star Wars actual franchise. So it seems to me like in the not too distant future, we're going to see more things getting shaken up here in the Star Wars universe, which is exciting because if you look at what The Mandalorian did for the Star Wars saga, it created the ability for them to actually sell, I think, a live-action TV series. And they made it work. And obviously with the backing of Jon Favreau and others, there's massive backing behind that. So it's glorious if you're a Star Wars fan. Now, the other thing is, will we see a return to the full, to the big screen environment, which I think, did you find anything else?
I did.
What'd you find?
So if you go, I'm trying to airdrop it to you.
Tell me where to go. You can't airdrop. Well, you can.
I can't do it. Just if you do a search for InsideTheMagic.net and then say timelines.
Sure, I can do that.
I'll find it. And while he's looking that up, basically the article I found was from 3 days ago. It says it's basically saying that Star Wars is quietly retracting the after Battle of Yavin and before Battle of Yavin timelines. But what it's kind of getting along with is that they're introducing some new eras, and there's a High Republic, the Fall of the Jedi, the Reign of the Empire, the Age of Rebellion, the New Republic, and the Rise of the First Order. So while these and the old movies fall into these new eras, but basically what that's getting to is there was some talk about Republic before, and that just was what James was saying about Knights of the Republic, some kind of like older timelines, and that's as you talk about Star Wars and any of these other Star Trek. I mean, the amount of stories that George and the other authors have like thousands of years before the movies. There's just there's so much material. But the same James. I would love to see a remake. I mean, we're gamers too. I'd love to see a remake of like the Knights of the Old Republic game. I thought that was super good. But also like a movie from that timeline would be super.
So you're talking about the one that actually the fans want more Old Republic and petition years to?
No, not that one.
Which one are you talking about?
It's this one here. I'll show you.
Here, go ahead. Well, you know what? I'll do this. You can probably blast it to me in about 2 seconds. There you go. You could send it my way, sir.
Do it.
Do it. Send it to me, man. That way we can take a look. But it's exciting. I mean, The Mandalorian for me definitely gave me an opportunity to. I was actually really excited when they saw Boba Fett again. That was actually really cool to see his armor.
And it's the actual guy too.
Yes, it is.
That's a cool. Yeah.
Which was actually really cool. So here we go. So this is the one you're talking about. All right, Star Wars Quietly Retracted.
So what? It's kind of like another piece of the puzzle to say, okay, they're changing timelines around, and I have to ask myself, why would they do that? Why are they changing things that they've had for a while? And it's not the first time they've talked about changing timelines and how things are written, but when you go down and there's a graphic down maybe halfway down the page that shows the timelines, you're like, some of that fits into like the High Republic all the way to the left.
Oh, where are we going? Who, where?
The same article.
Sorry, where
did you just go down?
Down.
Keep going down.
Yep.
Yeah, just keep going.
Oh, timeline. Oh, wait, is it this one?
Keep going down.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
So those you can see the old movies. They fall into these timelines that they've kind of refigured, let's say. But the far left there says the High Republic, and that's I haven't seen that on an official timeline. I mean, I have, but I mean, I guess I'm asking myself, okay, because there was some rumor that I thought I saw as well that there would be some stories or maybe movies or something, a game maybe, of that earlier timeline in history. So they're
gonna put in. They're gonna insert
James, possibly.
They're going to insert the Bad Batch, which I know that was just announced that's going to happen. Their solo story, right, which is another one. So then we have the Rogue One, which I really liked, which we knew took place just before A New Hope because that's what led to the destruction of the Death Star. And then we have The Mandalorian, which takes place after Return of the Jedi, which would have been the timeline in which Boba Fett died and was eaten by the
but before all the new movies,
right? Okay, so that makes sense. And then we have all the movies that were actually video games. And then
so
now we have the High Republic.
But they've kind of put all that stuff on the right, and then on the left they have this new thing. And I'm like, how are they going to? Nothing there though. So
how are they going to do that? I mean, so who's going to tell that story? I mean, maybe is this Lucas?
George going to step in and be like, I'm going to fill the gap over there.
Well, the article says that George is going to be directing 2 episodes going to this new series on Disney Plus. However, that he's going to retain some of the reins on creative decisions going forward if this works out, which to me would sound like they're preparing for Lucas to retake some of the reins because let's face it, you can milk a story so far before you have to go back to the guy that actually created the cow, right? I just made that up.
He's happy to come back in and do some more stuff, so
interesting. So there's so much more afoot going on, and today was like a trove of information. So if there's a bunch of stuff to go over because we just realized we couldn't leave anything out on the day because there's just too much to report. So we're excited to bring you guys that, and we're happy that you guys have tuned into the show. If there's anything else you want to talk about, by all means, let us know because we have actually delivered, and we're under time.
Oh man!
Oh my
it was
god!
Condensed a bit, kind of shooting at you there, but yeah.
Here's what I want in my dreams: a Joby aircraft that looks like Slave One. Come on, that'd be worth it. No?
Well, yeah, of course, but I mean,
you wouldn't want that?
A lot of things. I'm just going through all the. If you could have, obviously, Star Destroyer would be cool.
Why would you see? It's not personal enough.
There's zero chance you'll be able to run that thing.
Of course, it's not a personal aircraft. I want a personal aircraft. Star Destroyer to me is like I have to integrate with people, crew it up, and
there's it's a bad decision to pick a Star Destroyer because you can't ever keep it to yourself. I mean,
then
it'd be taken over by some.
Then you know what you really need, Corey. You need the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy. You need a Millennium Falcon. Nobody else can run the Kessel Run in what was it?
12 parsecs, which
12
is
parsecs.
Not a unit of time. That's the unit of length. Distance.
Oh God.
That whole thing again. But it's classic.
I get it, but why do you have to ruin the childhood dreams of so many out there by bringing in a physics equation that doesn't necessarily have to be talked about in what's basically a fictional universe? What I have to say. Anyhow.
Just pops in there, right? As they say in Ghostbusters, it pops in there. You say parsecs, and that's not how it works. But